Kingston Western Economic Enablement, Kingston Western Economic Enablement 25-26, $3 million SDC. Mr. Fitz-Jackson, St. Catherine Southern Economic Enablement, St. Catherine Southern Economic Assistant 25-26, $1 million social development. Mr. Damian Crawford, St. Catherine Northwestern Economic Enablement 25-26, additional $1 million SDC. Dr. Christopher Tufton, St. Catherine West Central Assistance, 25-26, $800,000 social development. Honorable Audrey Marks, Manchester Northeastern Agricultural Assistant, 25-26, $1 million RADA. Honorable Audrey Marks, Manchester Northeastern Additional Economic Enablement, 25-26, $600,000 SDC. Honorable Floyd Green, St. Elizabeth Southwestern Economic Enablement 25-26, $800,000 St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation. Dr. Dayton Campbell, Westmoreland Eastern Westmoreland Micro Business Development Program 25-26, $1 million SDC. Honorable Tova Hamilton, Trelawney Strive Entrepreneurial Empowerment for Sustainable Livelihoods, 25-26 Phase 2, $318,000 social development. Sports. Mr. Fitz-Jackson, St. Catherine Southern Sports, 25-26, $2 million, Social Development Commission. Honorable Floyd Green, St. Elizabeth Southwestern Sports Development, 25-26, $800,000 social development. Honorable Edmund Bartlett, St. James East Central Sports Development, 25-26, $600,000 social development. Welfare and Emergency. Honorable Desmond Mackenzie Kingston, Western Additional Welfare Emergency 25-26, 550,000 SDC. That is dollars. Mr. Leroy Clark, St. James Central, Project Type, Human and Social Development, St. James Central Sports Development 2025-2026, $2 million. Wrong something. Social. Hello, dear.
Miss Smith.
You know what, mix them up. This is a different one, you know. That one you just give me. Yeah, yeah. This one is welfare and emergency. Honorable Franklin Witter, St. Elizabeth, Southeastern Additional Welfare Emergency 25-26, 800, what is happening? $84,200 social development. Let me see. Honorable Matthew Samuda, St. Anne Northeastern, St. Anne Northeastern Welfare and Emergency Additional 25-26, $1 million social development. Education. Dr. Christopher Tufton, St. Catherine West Central, Education Assistant 2025-26, additional 800,000 Social Development Commission. Honorable Delano Seavright, St. Andrew North Central, St. Andrew North Central Additional Educational Development 25-26, 500,000 SDC. Mr. Damian Crawford, St. Catherine Northwestern, St. Catherine Northwestern Educational Support, 25-26 additional $3.5 million social development. Mrs. Natalie Nita Garvey, St. Catherine North Central, Educational Development, 25-26 additional $900,303.12 social development. Honorable Orlando Terry Long, St. Catherine East Central, St. Catherine East Central Educational Program, 25-26 additional $350,192 social development. Honorable Audrey Marks. Dr. Alfred Dawes, St. Catherine Southeastern Human and Social Development, St. Catherine Southeastern Additional Welfare Emergency, 2025-2026, $1 million SDC. Honorable Audrey Marks, Manchester Northeastern, Additional Education, 25-26, $3 million SDC. Mr. Mikhail Phillips, Manchester Northwestern, Additional Manchester Northwestern Educational Program, 25-26, $961,550, Manchester Municipal Corporation. Honorable Floyd Green, St. Elizabeth Southwestern Additional Educational Development Program, 25-26, $3.5 million, St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation. Honorable Matthew Samuda, St. Anne Northeastern Educational Assistant Funding, additional 25-26, $600,000, Social Development. Mr. Dayton Campbell, Westmoreland Eastern Additional Educational Development Program, 25-26, $600,000, Social Development. Heather Miller Bennett, Hanover Western Second Additional Educational Assistant, 25-26, $500,000, Social Development. Mrs. Marlene Malahoo, Fort KC, St. James West Central. St. James West Central Educational Assistant, 25-26, $4.6 million SDC. West Central. Mr. Omar Newell, St. Mary's Central, Additional Education Assistant, 25-26, $1.1 million SDC. Reallocation. Dear Mrs. Holness, Reallocation of funds for Kingston Central. Member of Parliament for the Caption Constituency, Honorable Donovan Williams, is seeking the approval of CDF Parliamentary Committee to reallocate the amount of $1,606,792.50 from the previous approved Kingston Central Stormwater Channel and Road Overlay 2526. The reallocated amount will be used to finance the enclosed project titled Kingston Central Public Infrastructure Cleaning and Waste Removal Initiative 2526. A copy of the previous parliamentary approval is also attached for your perusal. Your consideration to this matter would be greatly appreciated. Dear Mrs. Solness, reallocation of funds for Kingston East and Port Royal. Member of Parliament for the Caption Constituency, Mr. Philip Paulwell, is seeking the approval of the CDF Parliamentary Committee to reallocate the amount of $1,500,000 from the previous approved Kingston East and Port Royal Economic Enablement 2526. The reallocation amount will be used to finance the enclosed project titled Kingston East and Port Royal Sports Program 2526. A copy of the previous parliamentary approval is also attached for your perusal. Your consideration to this matter would be greatly appreciated. Dear Mrs. Solness, reallocation of funds for St. Andrew West Rural. Member of Parliament for the Caption Constituency, Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, is seeking the approval of the CDF Parliamentary Committee to reallocate the amount of $500,000 from the previous approved St. Andrew West Rural Sporting Assistant 2526. The reallocated amount will be used to finance the enclosed project titled St. Andrew West Rural Social Housing 2526 Additional Number 2. A copy of the previous parliamentary approval is also attached for your perusal. Your consideration to this matter would be greatly appreciated. Yes. Not before us. Dear Mrs. Solness, reallocation of funds for St. Catherine South Eastern. Member of Parliament for the Caption Constituency, Dr. Alfred Dawes, is seeking the approval of CDF Parliamentary Committee to reallocate the amount of $750,000 from the previous approved St. Catherine South Eastern Administrative Assistant 2025-2026. The reallocation will be used to finance the enclosed project title St. Catherine Additional Educational Assistant 2025-2026. A copy of the previous parliamentary approval is also attached for your perusal. Your consideration to this matter would be greatly appreciated. Dear Mrs. Holness, reallocation of funds, Clarendon Central. The Member of Parliament for Clarendon Central, Honorable Delroy Williams, is formally requesting the verment of $750,000 from the Clarendon Central Administrative Assistance Allocation 25-26, budgeted at Jamaica $1.5 million, which is currently assigned to the Social Development Commission. The MP is seeking the approval of the Parliamentary Committee to reallocate these funds to finance the Clarendon Central Economic Enablement 25-26 project budgeted at Jamaican $750,000. For your review and consideration, the following has been enclosed: the official request letter from Member of Parliament, a copy of the previous approval, a project proposal for the Clarendon Central Economic Enablement 25-26. Your favorable consideration approval would be appreciated. Dear Mrs. Holness, withdrawal and reallocation of funds, Clarendon Northwestern. The Member of Parliament for Clarendon Northwestern, Mr. Richard Azan, is requesting the withdrawal of the following approved project under the 24-25 financial period: Clarendon Northwestern Additional Welfare and Emergency, number 1, budgeted at $1 million, and 2, Clarendon Northwestern Additional Welfare and Emergency number 2, budgeted at $1 million. The MP is seeking approval for the reallocation of these funds, totaling Jamaican $2 million, to support the implementation of the Clarendon Northwestern Spalding Cultural and Resource Center 2025, Phase 3, project budgeted at Jamaican $1.396,739.60. Dear Mrs. Holness, project withdrawal and reallocation of funds. St. Elizabeth North Eastern Member of Parliament, Ms. Zulika Jess, is seeking the approval of the CDF Parliamentary Committee to reallocate $1,999,800, earmarked for the previous approved St. Elizabeth North Eastern Fantilan Road Rehabilitation 25-26 project. Ms. Jess has requested that the approved mentioned sum be directed to the rehabilitation of Longwood Parochial Road, St. Elizabeth North Eastern, 2025-2026 project, which is attached. I have also attached copies of the request letter and the previous approved project for the committee's perusal, and look forward to your favorable consideration. Dear Mrs. Holness, reallocation of funds for St. Thomas Eastern Additional Welfare and Emergency 25-26. Member of Parliament for the Constituency of Caption, Ms. Yvonne Rosemary Shaw, is seeking approval to reallocate $600,000 from the St. Thomas Eastern Additional Welfare and Emergency Fund 25-26 to finance the attached St. Thomas Eastern Additional Economic Enablement number 2 project. I have attached a copy of the request letter from the Member of Parliament as well as previous approval for the committee's perusal. Your favorable consideration of this matter is anticipated. Dear Mrs. Solness, re-project withdrawal for St. James Southern. Member of Parliament for the constituency at caption, Ms. Nikisha Burrell is seeking the approval of the... Nikisha Burrell. Burchell, sorry. Is seeking the approval of the CDF Parliamentary Committee to withdraw the previous approved St. James Southern rehabilitation of section of the Eden Road within the Cambridge Division 2526. The reallocation amount will be used to finance the attached St. James Southern rehabilitation of the Horse Guard Road within the Catadupa Division 2526. A copy of the previous approval also attached for your perusal. Dear Chairman, recorrection of project name for St. Catherine Northeastern. This letter serves to formally advise that on December 9, 2025, a project present to the committee in relation to the constituency of St. Catherine Northeastern was inadvertently mislabeled. The project was presented at St. Catherine Northeastern Additional Educational 2526. However, this was an error. The correct title of the project should have been St. Catherine Northeastern Additional Welfare 2526. We regret any confusion this error may have caused and kindly request that the records of the committee be updated accordingly to reflect the correct project name. Attached is the correct approval sheet for your review and approval. So it was from Karen Chair's office?
Was it St. Catherine Northeastern?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's it then. First name, additional education, 2526, which looks like this. And they say that it should be additional welfare.
Can we have the confirmation of the minutes? Oh, we have to answer the correction.
Yes.
Before we can confirm the minutes, members, before we can confirm the minutes, the correction that was just asked of us for St. Catherine Northeastern, where the error, the name, the title of the project. Sorry. For the correction. Moved by Member Daly, seconded by Member Cuthbert Flynn. Ayes have it. At this time, we will take the confirmation of the minutes by Member Nita Garvey, Mrs. Nita Garvey, seconded by Honorable Donovan Williams. Any other business?
I'm trying to figure out how it is that we are going to be able to ask the powers that be. Because I wasn't a part of the committee when it was decided to put a cap on cultural and sporting projects, right? Prior to, I think, a year and a half or two, no, there's a cap, no. The cap is $2 million, right? Am I correct? Correct. And with today's cost of living and the kind of expenditure that comes with sports and cultural activities, I'm asking that we revisit that number and bring it to at least $3 million. I'm saying this against the background of someone who has a very established sports program, and we have had 18 consecutive years of sporting competition across 3 sports. And I am telling you, it is a real challenge to provide equipment and gears for some 46 teams across the 3 sports, right? So, in addition, I think with culture and the importance of Jamaicans and our young people being able to be constantly reminded where we're coming from, the fabulous nature of our culture, something that we have as part of the economy to go forward, that our community cultural development programs can't be stifled. I'm also asking that that be returned to $3 million. And I say it again, against the background of a constituency that has had 18 years of the Emancipation Festival at Sligoville, and we struggle each year. Sometimes it takes us 1 year to pay off the previous year. And it is difficult. It's critical that we're able to preserve our cultural forms and our creative economy. All right? I just want the records to reflect, and that it be escalated to whomever it needs to go to. I don't know if it is to the acting director, or the acting director will then escalate to the cabinet. But coming out of this CDF meeting this morning, I would like that request to be put forward. I don't know if anybody else has any opinion on it.
To add that, I'm in total agreement with Member Garvey, but just to add that we should look at it not as mandatory, but discretionary. So we can go up to $3 million. So that is what I would want to add to it.
There's a cap.
Yes.
First, second, those in favor? Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it. Madam Daly Campbell, the request is on the floor that it be sent to the necessary stop and be addressed and brought back to us. All right? Thanks. Any other business? If there is no other business, the date of the next meeting. One time from now.
Proposed to be April 14 to accommodate the administrative assistant salaries. April 14.
The proposed date for our next meeting is April 14th. Those in favor? Ayes have it. So the date is set. There is no closing remark. May I ask for the adjournment? Moved by Member Williams, seconded by Nita Garvey. This meeting now stands adjourned. Thank you very much for your time, ma'am. And thank you very much for those from CDF. DV, what are you going? Boy, testing times, not true.
All right. So now we're going to ask the question, what is subtraction? And based on the song, you know that. What did you pick up from the song? Huh? Right. You pick up from the song that we use the minus sign when we are subtracting. Subtraction means to take away from a group or a number of things. When we subtract, the number of things in the group reduce or become less. Let me say that again. When we subtract, the number of things in the group reduce or become less. And you're going to need that information, especially when you're doing worded problems. All right? Subtraction is removing some object from a group. The meaning of 5 minus 2 equals 3 is 2 objects are taken away from a group of 5 objects, with the answer remaining 3. All right. Now we are looking at our subtraction sentence here, and we have identified the minus sign that looks like a dash. Okay. The sign used in subtraction is called minus sign. Minus represents the mathematical operation of subtraction between two numbers. For example, 8 minus 2 equals 6. No matter where. Okay, did you know that subtraction has parts? There are parts to the subtraction, you know. All right, let's see what it looks like. All right, 6 minus 1 equals 5. So our first number is called the minuend. Our second number, the number that we're taking away from the minuend, is called the subtrahend. And the answer is called the difference. So we have minuend, subtrahend, and difference. So here we have the 6 is called the minuend, the 1 is called subtrahend, and the answer that we get is called the difference. And I want you to keep that in mind. Okay? All right. So we're looking at some subtraction words. Now, once you're doing mathematical problems, there are some words, some keywords. When you see these words, you know immediately you're talking about subtraction. Do you think about what comes to mind? Are there any words that come into mind? Let's see if we have the same words, if our words are going to come at the same time. If what word you're thinking about is the word that you're going to be seeing on my screen. All right. Our first word is deduct. The next one is detract. So we have deduct, and we have detract, and we have decrease by. Sometimes you may not see the by, but you see decrease, and that means to subtract. The next word is difference. All right. Then we have how many more. Sometimes when you see a worded problem and they'll ask you how many more. Int, subtract. All right. Next word we have is how many left. And finally, left over. So let us go through again. We have deduct, detract, decrease by, difference, how many more, how many left, left over. Let's look again if we have, of course, we have some words, less. Remember when we were talking about subtraction earlier, that they said that it becomes less, all right? Minus, reduce, remains, remove, subtract, and take away. So I want you to remember these words because these are the words that are going to help you, especially when you're doing worded problems. All right, so we're looking at the rule because in order to do subtraction, you must understand the basis of subtraction. And these are going to help you to quickly get your answer. All right, so subtraction rule number 1. When you subtract 0 from a number, the difference is that number. So I always say to the students, any number that 0 is taken from, the number is, you get the same number. So 2 take away 0 is 2. And 67 take away 0 is 67. And 123 take away 0 is, let me hear you. Can't hear you. I want you to shout it. Very good. 123. All right. It's your time to try. Let's go. 12 take away 0 equal. Of course, I hear you. The answer is 12. Let's try another one. 45 take away 0 is equal to 45. Let's see what we have next. 237 minus 0 equal, who knows? 237. Good job. Clap yourself. Well done. Okay. Now we are going to look at rule number 2. Let's see what our rule is. When you subtract a number from itself, the difference is 0. 23 minus 23 is 0. 46 minus 46 equals 0. And 712 minus 712 equals 0. All right, it's now your time to try. 122 take away 122 equals. We're going to go through this very fast because guess what? I know the answers are coming. They're just flowing. 0. All right. Next we have 48 minus 48 equals. What is it? 0. Good job. 137 take away 137 equals 0. All right. Good job. Pat yourself for the shoulder and say, well done. Well done. I hope you remember the 2 rules. All right. Now we're looking at writing subtraction number sentence. Right? What is a subtraction number sentence? A subtraction number sentence has 2 numbers where one is being subtracted from the other. It also includes the answer. For example, 8 take away 3 equals 5. That itself, that is the subtraction number sentence. And it includes both subtraction question and its difference. And you know the difference is the answer. Okay? All right, let me see if you are able to write subtraction sentence, right? Before we go ahead and do that though, we're going to be looking at the 4 parts. So you have the subtrahend, the minuend, the equal sign, and the difference. For example, 20, which is the minuend, minus 5, which is the subtrahend, equal 15, which is the difference. That's our number sentence. Okay, now it's your time to see. I've given you 3 numbers, all right? And I have given you the little lines there as a little model for you to make your subtraction sentence. Okay, so we have 6, we have 8, and we have 14. And you must understand also that you're not supposed to take the big number from the small number, all right? So we're gonna do this together. So we have 6, 8, and 14. Which number do you think should be first on that line? I am going to model it. So I'm thinking, and when you're doing mathematics, you can talk to yourself and try to remember the process. So I know that I'm not supposed to take a big number from a small number. So I am going to put the biggest number there, which is 14 on the line. And I have 6 and 8. I can choose anyone. So I'm going to put 14 on the first line. I'm going to choose 8 on the second line. And my answer would be 6. Let's see if that is correct. Good. All right. Now the next one, very good. Or I can also have the 14 minus 6 equal 8. This is your turn. All right. Can you do the subtraction sentence another way? I have done this one. 15 minus 12 equals 3. Do you think you can do it another way? What would you put first? Yes. Okay, right, 15. And then the next number you would put is what? 3, good. And your answer would be 12. Good job. All right. We have 7, we have 5, and we have 12. What should go on the first line? Okay, yes, the biggest number. Then what we have on the second line, what are we taking away? We could take away 5, or we could take away 7. Good job. All right. So the first one we are doing, well, I have take away 5 equals 7. So the next one should be what? 12 take away what? 7 equal 5. Good job. Okay, good job. Let's do this other one. We have 4, 6, and 10. And I'm going to give you a chance to just write that down now. You're going to write it down. You're going to write this number sentence, right? And then I am going to show you the answers, and you're going to check to see if what I have is what you have. Are you ready? All right. Let's go. Let's go. I'm giving you a chance to write. Go ahead and write. Go ahead. All right. I'm going to show my answer. Did you get that one? You did? Did you get that one? Good job. Clap yourself. Yay. Good job. Okay. Now we're moving on. And this now is our segment where we do 2-digit subtraction. Okay. How do we subtract 2-digit numbers? I like to tell my students that we have steps, and we follow the steps so we can get the process right. So 2-digit numbers. The first step is to write the numbers in column form. So we have 47 take away 12. And how we are going to write the 47? Split the numbers in tens and ones. We put the 47 above. We put 12 below, and we put our line. Don't forget to put your subtraction sign. Since we have written our numbers in column form, I want you to tell me, what do you think our next step is? And our next step is a very important step, a step that I realize a lot of children do not follow. What step do we take next? What do you think we should do next? Okay, I'm hearing you. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, all right, let's see how that goes. Let's see who got it right. If you said subtract numbers in the ones column, then you are correct. And so we have 7 and we have 2. So we're going to take the 2 from the 7 and our answer is 5. And we have to write our answer, man. All right, so we have completed the subtraction in the ones column. Who can tell me what do we do next? I'm giving you time to tell me. No matter where in this world we go, we have to do sub. What did you say? All right, of course. Of course, but let's see if you are correct. Okay, good job. So the next step, which is step 3, we go ahead and we subtract from our tens column. So here we have 4 on the top, we have 1 below. We're going to take 1 from the 4 and our answer is, of course, our answer is 3. Our answer is 3. And so when we look at this subtraction problem, we get our answer, which is 35. Okay? Now, let's go again. We have 68 minus 17. Step 1. Let me hear you what you should do for step 1. Yes? Of course. We have to put it in column form. If it is already in column form, then we can go ahead and subtract from the ones column. But if it's not in column form, we have to put it in the column form, tens and ones. Okay. Then the next step is to subtract the ones column first. And I'm begging you students, remember, always start in the ones column. Always start in the ones column. You need to keep telling yourself that. Always start in the ones column. Always, always. Don't forget that. Start subtracting in the ones column. So we have 8 at the top and we have 7 below. And we're going to take away the 7 from the 8. And we are going to write our answer. So 7 from 8, the answer is 1. So our second step is to subtract from the ones column. What will be our third step? Let me hear you. Your time to talk to me. All right. What is the third step? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. All right. So you want to see if your answer is correct? Let's look. What we do next. Okay, then the tens. So then we are going to subtract from the tens. We look at the tens column and we see 6 above and 1 below. So we're going to take 1 from the 6. So we're taking 1 tens from the 6 group of tens and we're leave with 5 tens. Now we have gotten our answer. Our answer is 51. Great. Let us go ahead and you are going to try these for me. Look at all of these. You are going to write them down on in your book. Nice, pretty writing I want to see, man. Nice, pretty writing. Number 1, 67